Hi everyone, welcome to City Pigs Caviary. Today I'm going to do a video about Lunkarya, but I'm going to do the video in comparison to its cousin breeds, the Peruvian, the Boucle or Alpaca, and then we're going to talk about the Lunkarya. I'm going to show you the different breeds side by side, or if they're adult males, maybe not side by side, but one and then the other, and I'm going to show you the comparisons and differences between them. This is a black-tanned Lunkarya. This is what it looks like. I'll zoom in a little later when I talk more about it. That's him, okay? But for now, we're going to start with Junior, Peruvian, Alpaca, and Lunkarya. So here we have three different types of Peruvian. These are the three Peruvian varieties. Here we have a blue slate Peruvian. He does have a couple of extra rosettes, so I'm just using him as an example because he's the only junior I have. Then we have an Alpaca Junior, or a Boucle Junior right there. And then here we have the Lunkarya. So hopefully I can zoom in and give you a good idea. So of course the Peruvian, very straight. In my mind, and hopefully you can see here on camera, there is a difference between the curl on these two guys. So here we have a very tight, very coarse curl. You can see that there. See if I can get in as close as possible. And here we have a looser, kind of softer curl. It's not as standing off the body. This curl here really kind of stands up. It doesn't curl and lay flat or anything. It's very wiry in texture. And it's a different curl. So here you have your three juniors. 1, 2, 3. So you can see there is visibly a difference. I know that the Boucle and this are similar. I'm trying to get the light on there properly. There we go. So the three models, they all have the rosettes in the bum. This one with a couple of extras. There you go, so you can see that. Those are three junior Peruvian models. Peruvian, Alpaca, Lunkarya. And they are all roughly the same age. This one's actually a little bit younger by a couple days than these two. Okay, so here we have, where is he? A Lunkarya and an Alpaca. These are 3 to 4 weeks old, and here you can really start to see the difference in hair texture. You can see on the Lunkarya already, very wiry, coarse, nappier hair, and on the Boucle, softer hair. So already this one's starting to look a little more like a wiry terrier than the Boucle looking more like a fuzzy frizzball. So there's, you can see the actual hair looks more coarse, sticks out very differently, lays very differently than on a Boucle, who just does not want to sit still. There we go. So these are between 3 and 4 weeks old, whereas the other ones are less than a week old. So hopefully you can see better lighting here. So there you can see right from the top some of the differences. Okay, here we have an intermediate Alpaca and Lunkarya. I'm sure at this point you can see the difference between the two. So a very important difference. You'll notice that on the Alpaca, we can get them to hold still, she starts to split down the middle here. The hair starts to part and divide, and these curls are much smaller. Very spirally, pretty curls. Whereas on this girl, hope we can see with here, the curls don't part down the middle. There's no parting. They stand up off the body. There's from the side. They go in every direction, kind of going up and over. And you'll notice it lifts up off the bum. She's got her little frontal there, starting to come in here too. On some of them, the really wiry ones, it lifts right up and curls up. But you can see that definitely there's a big difference happening here between the two at intermediate age. Now, we do have one that's a little more coarse than this that I'm going to show you a difference between a many-generation Alpaca, or sorry, a many-generation Lunkarya and a new generation Lunkarya. So these are intermediate Lunkarya and Alpaca, And of course you can see the difference in the curls on them. Otherwise, they should look exactly the same except for by curl. Okay, so here we have Adam and Denny. They're both Lunkuras, but this one has one Peruvian parent. So you can see, even by looking at them, although it doesn't part down the middle for the most part, a little bit here, the curls on this one are much kind of bigger and softer. And the curls on this one, you can see the texture is very coarse and up, like more straight up. This one kind of collapses on itself, even though it's big and loopy and looks like a Lunkira. Oh, there we go, they're purring at each other. These are both Lunkira, but two different generations. So I'm sure you could see by the sheen difference, this one's way more wiry than this one. Hey guys. But I believe breeding the Peruvian in did improve on the chops and the frontal here. So hopefully we'll see later on in life that worked out in my favor. But you can see here the coarseness. Doesn't look so coarse. Coarseness doesn't look so coarse. Hopefully you can tell from the picture or from the video. There we go. But he would be bred back to a many generation Lunkira, and you would start getting back to the wiry texture again. Can you lift this one up so I can see the bellies? Let's see. So you can see he does have a curly, very, very coarse belly. And then this one. And then this is Adam. He was our first Lunkira born. So even here you could see the curl is a little bit more loose and big than on the other one. And you can see that it's just not as wiry. So here we have two seniors. I'm sure you can tell from the video which is which. Let's see. Can you guess which one's which? So we've got the Alpaca with a nice small spirally curl here, splitting down the back, and the frontal's got to go forward. And then here we have the Lunkira. I'm going to zoom in or out. There we go. With a big, big, big loopy, wiry curl. He is definitely a lot more wiry than this guy. Hopefully he won't throw him off the table. So to see them together, you can tell the difference between a Boucle and Lunkira. It's very different. I'm sure you could even see the sheen and texture of his coat compared to the lack of sheen because of the wiriness of his coat, and you can see the big curls there. Now, these guys rarely tangle. I can't describe the texture to you. You would have to feel it. It is something akin to a wire-haired terrier, but one thing that's different is debris like wood shavings, it does work its way in. Look at here. So on a Alpaca, that would have turned into a mat for sure. But on a Lunkira, it just sits there until you take it out. So there you have your two. Alright everyone, so here's your three Peruvian models as seniors, and hopefully there won't be any fighting because they are all boys. We have a blue slate Peruvian in the middle, a blue slate Alpaca here, and a very big wiry Lunkira. So those are the three. Hopefully this video can help you understand the difference between the curls and the textures and what they should look like. Maybe I should get some side shots here. Does that help? There we go. So you can see. One, two, and three. So those are your three Peruvian models. Thanks for watching, and hopefully that helped.